Bandang 2:00 ng hapon, bumuhos ang malakas na ulan sa Quezon City. Sa lalim ng baha sa pandulokan ng Mother Ignacia at Summer Avenue sa Quezon City, lagpas kalahati ng streets.
Ayon sa City Disaster Risk Reduction Management Office, ang mga nasawi ay kabilang sa mahigit 300 pamilyang naapektuhan ng matinding ragasan ng tubig. Sa barangay population,
Una, ang United Nations mismo sa isang report ang nagduda nasaan ang pondo para sa mga biktima ng Yolanda.
Mahigit isang buwan nang lumipas ang malalakas na ulang dala ng magkakasunod na bagyo at habagat. Pero ang barangay Tagumpay sa bayan ng Bae sa Laguna, lubog pa rin sa Makati, maitim at mabahong tubig.
Bakit nag-utang ka agad? Naubos na ba yung binigay ng maraming mga pamahalaan? Malaki ang tinanggap pero higit pa rin na malaki yung inutang. Tayo yung magbabayad nito.
Flooding in the Philippines is not new. Surrounded by vast oceans and sitting along the Pacific Typhoon Belt, the nation is battered by an average of 20 tropical cyclones each year.
Ayon sa pag-asa, posibleng magtaas ng hanggang wind signal number 5 sa ilang lugar.
Heavy rainfall, overflowing rivers, and storm surges often leave cities and provinces underwater. History tells a story of devastating floods. Typhoon Ondoy in 2009, which submerged Metro Manila in record-breaking rainfall. And Yolanda in 2013, the deadliest storm ever faced by the Philippines, that left many devastated, and many, not thousands, but millions dead. The storm surges that swept away entire coastal communities. Each disaster left scars, not only on the land, but on the lives of millions of Filipinos.
Flooding has become one of the greatest threats of our communities today. Every time the sky darkens and rain begins to pour, millions of Filipinos live in fear of water rising, losing their homes, of being forced to evacuate in the middle of the night. Floods are no longer rare. They are becoming a normal part of life for many of us.
But here's the truth. Floods are not just about water. They are also about humans suffering from economic losses and broken dreams. When floods come, they not only destroy houses, but they'll also destroy years of hard work, education, and even lives. The reality is that we are all vulnerable, whether we live in cities, rural areas, or coastal communities. Flooding is a national problem, and it needs a national solution.
Numbers don't lie. According to the World Risk Index, the Philippines ranks among the most disaster-prone countries in the entire world. Almost 10 million Filipinos are affected by flooding every single year. That's like saying 1 out of every 5 of us impacted by rising waters.
Why does flooding continue to devastate us? One of the major causes is climate change. Because of the global warming, we now experience stronger typhoons, unpredictable weather patterns, and heavier rainfall. The Philippines, being in the typhoon belt, suffers the brunt of these changes. In fact, sea levels around our country are rising faster than the global average. That means low-lying areas like coastal towns and riverbanks are at risk of permanent flooding in the coming decades.
We cannot ignore Mother's Nature role in this crisis. Rainfall is not just take weeks now. Of course, it's like a matter of hours. Typhoon that used to occur once in a decade now happen almost yearly. Natural systems are shifting, and unless we adapt, the water will keep rising against us.
But it's not only nature that causes flooding. Human actions play a big role too. One of the worst contributors is improper waste management. Every day, tons of garbage are thrown into rivers, canals, and drainage systems. Plastics, plastic bottles, and household waste clog our waterways, preventing water from flowing freely. The result? Even light rains can cause instant flooding in many urban areas.
Illegal dumping and careless habits may seem small at first, but when multiplied by millions of people, they become a massive problem. Imagine a single plastic bag can block a drainage canal. Multiply that by thousands of households, then the system collapses. This is why discipline and responsibility in handling waste is not just a personal matter. It is a public duty.
Another factor we cannot ignore is poor governance and unplanned urbanization. As cities expand, natural floodplains are being covered with cement and buildings, where water used to flow and so soak into the soil, it now has nowhere to go. Our drainage systems are outdated and often poorly maintained. In some areas, flood control projects are promised but never completed.
Funds intended for disaster risk reduction and flood prevention sometimes get lost along the way. Communities are left vulnerable and people suffer. Meanwhile, illegal logging and deforestation keep our mountains bare. Without this to hold the soil, rainwater rushes down unchecked. Overwhelming rivers and floodplains. Clearly, flooding is not just a natural disaster. It's a man-made crisis made by the neglect and greed.
The consequences of flooding reach far beyond property damage. Entire families are forced to evacuate to overcrowded shelters, leaving beyond everything they own. Children miss weeks of school, sometimes even months, because classrooms are converted into evacuation centers. Small businesses close, farmers lose their crops, and also breadwinners struggle to earn an income. The health risks are just as alarming. After floods, diseases like leptospirosis, dengue, and cholera spread quickly through contaminated water. Access to clean drinking water becomes a daily struggle. And for the poorest families, a single food can mean total devastation, pushing them deeper into poverty. Flooding does not discriminate, but it hurts the vulnerable, the most children, the elderly, and the poor.
On a personal level, we can start with proper waste disposal and waste segregation. Every piece of garbage that we keep out of the drainage system is a small step forward preventing a flood.
Supporting reforestation and tree planting activities can also make a big difference, as the trees absorb rainfall and protect our soil from erosion.
We must demand transparency in infrastructure projects, push for the sustainable urban planning, and insist that public funds go where they need it the most. Flood prevention is not just a task for the government or the private sector. It is a collective responsibility.
On the community level, we can organize regular cleanup drives, strengthen disaster preparedness programs, and also educate one another about flood safety. And as citizens, we must hold our leaders accountable.
Flooding is not destiny. It is something we must endure year after year. It is a problem we can solve together.
Imagine a Philippines where our rivers are clean, our communities are well prepared, and children look forward to a rainy season. That vision is possible only if we act now.
So let us be responsible citizens.
Let us care for our environment, manage our waste properly, and support projects that protects our communities.
Let us raise our voices not only during disasters, but every day as we demand real change.
Because flood is not just about water, it is about life, survival, and our future.
Together, we can build a safer,
Stronger,
and flood-resilient nation.
And together,
We rise!
we